All right, everybody. Welcome to the Fox 10 News Now stream. Everybody watching on Facebook Live and fox10phoenix.com. Joined right now, Victor Silva, once again, debate coach.
Thank you.
Of Desert Vista High School.
Mm-hmm.
And, wow, second presidential debate. And you know what else? There hasn't been too much to talk about this debate, has there?
No, not at all. Right.
Wow.
What a weekend.
What
right?
a weekend that's really, this whole election season has been, nothing's been normal.
Right.
And this really just shows it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, talk to us about this second debate. It's different from the first one we saw in terms of the format.
Mm-hmm.
What's it going to be like?
Well, in a town hall setting, the first thing is you're getting questions asked by mostly participants from the audience, supposed undecided voters. So you're really getting an opportunity to talk to undecided voters, which both of these candidates need to do, especially Donald Trump on the heels of what a wild weekend he's had.
Yes.
And so the ability to connect with voters is going to be key. The interesting thing, especially keeping in mind what's happened over the weekend, is this normally means that you're not going to attack your opponent very much. You're going to try to connect to voters, but I don't see how these candidates cannot take an opportunity to take maybe a jab at one another.
And Victor, when do you think it'll be the first question out?
It has to be.
Yes.
I think it would be tone deaf if it wasn't. This is what everyone's saying. And for Trump, I think he needs that first 10 minutes, this is what everyone's going to be watching, to apologize, whatever his campaign is set to get onto that game plan and then be able to pivot out. I think what Mike Pence did, by not necessarily defending Donald Trump, but deflecting, is the perfect playbook, the Pence playbook for Donald Trump. To be able to deflect that, take admissions, and then go after Hillary Clinton and talk to the American people about why he's the agent of change in this election.
Absolutely. And just say Friday didn't happen, the video never came out. Say that never happened. Going into this debate with this style, who do you think had the advantage going into the second one as far as with the format?
With the format, Donald Trump is used to so many big lecture halls and rallies. He doesn't normally take time to connect with the voters. He did a kind of a practice run, although he says it wasn't practice, in I believe New Hampshire it was. And that, according to a lot of the press, didn't go so well. And so this is an opportunity for Hillary Clinton to really connect with the voters. So for Donald Trump, he needs to be able to maybe alter his style a little bit here.
Wow, that'll be interesting. And now, then to add to the whole complexity of the Friday video, you're talking about an October surprise.
Right.
He was the one that got it so far. And you mentioned, also on Friday came the part of the emails with Hillary Clinton, and that really went under the radar totally.
Right, and what's Hillary Clinton's biggest weakness is that she'll say anything to get elected, or at least that's what some voters will say. This email chain between her campaign manager Podesta and staffers saying there's going to be one message in public and one message in private, and talking to Wall Street insiders about maybe they should be in control and not reformers, that hurts her in terms of saying anything, and it hurts her support with the Bernie Sanders that we're feeling the burn. Now they're feeling burned perhaps by this email, and Hillary Clinton has got to say something to make sure that she keeps those voters in the fold.
Absolutely. And what we're taking is a live look inside the debate hall. You can see as more audience members are coming. We also have another shot available to us. I just want to go, and this is the camera angle of when the candidates will be coming in, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. So we'll keep our eyes on that too. So we'll be able to see it live when it happens right here. And let's take you back inside the hall.
And how would you like to be in that limousine with Mr. Trump and Mrs. Trump and what that relationship might be like, right?
Absolutely.
And that's something you don't want to have coming up on this big debate.
No, not at all. And what do you think it was like in Trump Tower Friday night when they were thinking, okay, how do we handle this now?
I mean, I think it had to have been panic. And then as soon as clear heads could have prevailed in saying, all right, we have to respond. Something we talk about on our team a lot is the response. It's not the action. It's not the event that happens. It's your response that dictates the outcome. For Donald Trump now, the event is out there. The tape has been leaked. He's not getting that back. His response needs to be perfect tonight to get the American people back on his side.
There you go. And Hillary Clinton, I mean, she's been pretty much groomed for this town hall situation, right? I mean, this is pretty much in her chamber almost.
Yeah, this is right down her wheelhouse of being able to show the voters that she cares about them, to look them in the eye. One of the things that was so effective, I thought, from when her husband, and I know you think this too, from when her husband was debating, was waiting out in the audience, engaging the voters, making them, as President Clinton would say, making him feel their pain. For Hillary Clinton, she has an opportunity to do that. And a lot of voters don't believe that she's fighting for them. This is her opportunity to show that she's on her side. She's also got to nail this too. For both candidates, there is a lot at stake at this
Absolutely.
debate.
And you brought it up. We have video of it. Let's go back in time now to 1992 with the town hall debate between Clinton and Bush. And many people call this the moment for Clinton that really got him elected, where he was able to really connect with an audience member and the rest of the country. So let's show that to you. This is back in 1992. Take a look at this moment.
Yes, how has the national debt personally affected each of your lives? And if it hasn't, how can you honestly find a cure for the economic problems of the common people if you have no experience in what's ailing them?
Well, I think the national debt affects everybody. Obviously, it has a lot to do with interest rates. It has.
She's saying you personally.
On a personal basis, how has it affected you?
Has it affected you personally?
Well, I'm sure it has. I love my grandchildren. I want to think that think that they're going to be able to afford an education. I think that that's an important part of being a parent. Maybe I won't get it wrong. Are you suggesting that if somebody has means, that the national debt doesn't affect them?
Oh, what I'm saying
I'm not sure I get it. Help me with the question, and I'll try to answer it.
I've had friends that have been laid off from jobs.
Yeah.
I know people who cannot afford to pay the mortgage on their homes, their car payment. I have personal problems with the national debt. But how has it affected you? And if you have no experience in it, how can you help us if you don't know what we're feeling?
I think she means more the recession, the economic problems today the country faces, rather than the deficit.
You ought to be in the White House for a day and hear what I hear and see what I see and read the mail I read and touch the people that I touch from time to time. I was in the Lomax AME Church. It's a black church just outside of Washington, D.C. And I read in the bulletin about teenage pregnancies, about the difficulty that families are having to make ends meet. I talked to parents. I mean, you got to care. Everybody cares if people aren't doing well. But I don't think it's fair to say you haven't had cancer, therefore you don't know what it's like. I don't think it's fair to say, whatever it is, if you haven't been hit by it personally. But everybody's affected by the debt because of the tremendous interest that goes into paying on that debt. Everything's more expensive. Everything comes out of your pocket and my pocket. So it's that. But I think in terms of the recession, of course you feel it when you're president of the United States. And that's why I'm trying to do something about it by stimulating the export, investing more, better education systems. Thank you. I'm glad to clarify.
Tell me how it's affected you again. You know people who've lost their jobs and lost their homes? Well, I've been governor of a small state for 12 years. I'll tell you how it's affected me. Every year, Congress and the President sign laws that make us do more things and gives us less money to do it with. I see people in my state, middle-class people, their taxes have gone up in Washington and their services have gone down, while the wealthy have gotten tax cuts. I have seen what's happened in this last 4 years. In my state, when people lose their jobs, there's a good chance I'll know them by their names. When a factory closes, I know the people who ran it. When the businesses go bankrupt, I know them. And I've been out here for 13 months, meeting in meetings just like this, ever since October, with people like you all over America. People that have lost their jobs, lost their livelihood, lost their health insurance. What I want you to understand is the national debt is not the only cause of that. It is because America has not invested in its people. It is because we have not grown. It is because we've had 12 years of trickle-down economics. We've gone from 1st to 12th in the world in wages. We've had 4 years where we produced no private sector jobs. Most people are working harder for less money than they were making 10 years ago. It is because we are in the grip of a failed economic theory. And this decision you're about to make better be about what kind of economic theory you want. Not just people saying, I'm going to go fix it, but what are we going to do? What I think we have to do is invest in American jobs, American education, control American health care costs, and bring the American people together again.
Well, there you go. Back in 1992, and look at the difference there.
This is textbook what not to do and then what to do in a town hall debate. For President H.W. Bush, Bush Sr., a long meandering answer. He didn't really answer a question. He had to get a follow-up. He looked sort of lackadaisical. At the beginning of that clip, you saw him checking his watch. That became a huge news story.
Yep.
And then from the other side, Governor Clinton at the time, waiting out in the audience, looking her in the eye, using compassionate language, asking her questions, engaging and showing, I can fight for you. I'm going to be on your side. I know the workers that have closed down. I feel your pain. That is what both of these candidates need to make sure they do, is take a textbook page out of Mr. Clinton's book and try to feel the voters'
Now,
pain.
do you think Hillary can replicate what we just saw Bill do?
She's going to have to, and that's not been her forte very much during the campaign, but I would imagine they've practiced. She knows President Clinton pretty well, I would say. And so being able to take a page out of the book, she's going to have to do that.
Absolutely. And now, besides just answering a question, how much of their body language tonight is going to play a crucial role?
I think the first thing is standing up straight, looking engaged the entire time. You never know what happens when the camera is on you. For instance, you pointed out in that clip that then President Bush looked almost amazed by President Clinton, like he was an audience member, in other words. So you have to make sure you know the camera's going to be on, that you're engaged, that you're thoughtful, but that you're not too awestruck from your opponent. But if you're answering questions, approaching kindly towards the audience members, not aggressively, being able to directly give your eye contact, that you're looking, one of the things that we talk about is if you look up here, you look down at your feet, you either look like you don't care or you're not confident. These candidates need to make sure they have that direct eye contact, that they can lock onto that audience.
Absolutely. All right, folks, let's take you inside now. You're taking a live look inside the debate hall. More audience members there getting situated. And we're also taking a look at the shot. Yeah, we haven't seen any action here yet, though, of Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump coming in right now. Now, if you think about it, all right, we're about 29 minutes away from the debate. Is that pretty common for them not to be in their green room or the area? Or would you want to kind of already be there already?
If it was me, I'd like to be there. I'd like to be familiar with my settings. I would not want to be stressed out about getting there, only thinking about what I need to do to prepare. But these candidates both have been so thoughtful and so detail focused, at least on Clinton's side, that I would imagine there's some sort of advantage here, but I'm not sure.
Sure.
But the way that the weekend has gone for both Clinton and Trump, maybe they're still getting their notes together. They're still huddling with their advisors. They're still trying to figure it out. The way the weekend has gone, it's hard to predict. This isn't your ordinary debate. This is must-see TV here.
No, and absolutely. And about an hour ago, we saw video of Donald Trump holding, not a news conference, but just a conference with supposed Bill Clinton, the women in Bill Clinton that accused him of sexual advantage, and I thought that was really something too to do it an hour before.
Right, and if you want to talk about the two responses that he can have, he can be contrite, he can apologize. America loves to forgive. We love to build people up, we love to tear them down, but then we love to forgive them when we turn them down. He can ask for our forgiveness, be contrite. This election has been about him being a change agent, changing America. He has to sell America. He has been the one that has changed.
Yes.
And so this happened a long time ago. I'm sorry, I've changed. I've talked to my family about this, taking a page out of President Clinton's book. Or he can go nuclear. He can bring everything down, start throwing mud and just seeing who comes out the cleanest. And that either one of those might bode well for Trump. Trump seems to thrive when he's in the spotlight. He seems to thrive when there's chaos and controversy. So this could be maybe his response plan. It's going to be interesting. Those first 10 minutes, I think everyone's going to be glued to the television to watch what he says.
Absolutely. And what do you think the over-under on the amount of times we're going to hear the word Bill Clinton?
If Trump decides to bring it down to that level, then we might hear it a lot in the start. I think whatever his response is going to be, both candidates would be well served to take the controversy, address in the first 10 minutes, and then get on to the issues. The American public still wants to know, how are you going to help my electric and heating bill? How are you going to help me get a job, especially in those key swing states, Ohio, Florida, Michigan, Pennsylvania. They need to bring that to the voters, their ideas. One of the missed opportunities, I thought, in the last debate was not giving themselves a chance to say, this is my message for the American public. It was more, Hillary Clinton does this, Donald Trump does this. Perhaps they'd be better served to America knows about the controversy.
Yes.
The Republican Party has addressed it. The cable news networks have addressed it. I'm sure in living rooms across this country, husbands and wives and children and parents have been talking about it. I think the sooner they get onto the issues, both of these candidates can try to make this more about issues than it is about whatever has happened 10 years ago or from emails from Clinton.
That's great. And, okay, this is only the second debate. We're going to have one more after this. Now, will that be like the first one? Set up as the first debate?
I know it's moderated by Fox News anchor, and I believe that's a sit-down debate. Off the top of my head, I'm not quite sure,
okay,
but I believe it's going to look more like the first one than this town hall meeting.
But they'll be sitting in that third one.
I believe so,
okay.
but I'm not sure.
Okay, wow. So just a different way to look at it as well. So you're really getting some different looks for the candidates as far as how it's going to come across. And, this tonight, a lot of people just tuning in probably to see that first 10 minutes too, right?
Yes.
I mean, they want to see fireworks. They want to see,
Right.
It could go either way. It's going to be something. Let's take it back inside right now to give you another live look. Inside as audience members getting ready. And we're also getting that shot. Let's see. We're also looking for the candidates. We have this. Oh, this could be something here. Let's see. We do see maybe a detail coming. Let's look. It looks like yes, looks like we're getting somebody here. So let's see. Who do you think is going to arrive first? Maybe someone's already in there.
Perhaps.
Maybe we're only seeing one arrival, but we'll see here. Okay, here comes the SUV. It's almost like, who will it be,
Looks like it's Trump.
All right, here he is. Donald Trump arriving. Guys are watching this right now on the Fox 10 News Now stream. Melania there as well. And his team as they are now being escorted inside the debate hall.
Very deliberate. This is the most important 90 minutes of his short political career thus far. What has to be weighing on his mind, how is he going to apologize? How is he going to get his campaign in order? You could see that in the slow steps that he was taking. Very deliberate. Donald Trump does almost nothing deliberate and measured. But today,
you did see that. Yeah, you did see those steps, each one very carefully. Now, if you think about it, he's really going to only have, 2.5 minutes really to address this? That's only a little bit more than he had for the video when he released it on Friday.
right, yeah. His campaign better have been practiced. Because in the last debate, I felt like Donald Trump thought he could rise to the occasion by not practicing, and he sunk to the level of his training. He really didn't give a performance that many people wanted to see, both Republicans and Democrats, from him. So now, if I'm the Trump campaign, that 2 minutes, that first apology has got to be rehearsed 3, 4, 5 times so we know exactly what we're getting out of Donald Trump.
And you got to look like totally sincere too during it. I mean, talk about the body language too.
Right. It can't be over choreographed, but can't come off as if he's fumbling for words. He's got to look us directly in the eye and say, I'm sorry, but I'm a changed man.
That'll be interesting to take a look too. Let's see. We have more people coming up. Rudy Giuliani there as well, another supporter of Donald Trump, making his way up to the debate hall. As we're watching this all unfold live for you right now. We are now, just a little more than 20 minutes away. And I'm wondering now at this point, is Hillary maybe already in there?
Perhaps.
Because you got to figure, you don't want to be coming, you still got to mic them up and everything.
Right, A lot of behind the scenes stuff. And also for her, such an important time to make her case to the American public, to continue to build the momentum she's had over the past week.
Yes.
But also she's going to have to answer a question at some point about those emails. I'm almost positive someone's going to bring it up. And if you're Donald Trump, you've got to pivot to her controversies. Hillary Clinton isn't controversy-free. You had Whitewater with her as the First Lady. You had Benghazi, the emails, and now this new email chain that was released. I think you're going to have to see her face the issues as well. And for her, she needs to have a great response there.
Yeah, there you go. That's another way to look at it as well. We have another shot inside more and more as we're looking at more audience members there. Just getting ready. And there's the stage. Well, there we go. And you can see, what do we have, about, looks like about 20 people on the sides there?
They said between 20 and 40. They normally have it at 100, but they really wanted to shrink it down and make it feel more intimate.
Okay.
And
so only those people will be talking tonight. There's going to be nobody from that audience that we saw?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I believe it'll be up to the moderators to bring their questions. And I believe there was also maybe something you can submit questions on Twitter that they would be able to see. But those 40 people, the spotlight is shining on them.
Yes.
And they get a chance to ask a potential president. One of those people on stage is going to be the president come January. They get a chance to interact and ask them. What a great opportunity for them on such a huge stage to help be a part of American democracy. This is what separates us from virtually the rest of the world, is that we can interact. Our leaders can interact with us, and we can interact with our leaders.
Now, we know that the candidates, they don't know the questions coming, but does the moderators know the type of questions that are going to be asked by the audience members?
I would imagine they'd have to be vetted, especially on live TV. You wouldn't want somebody going off on a rant.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things that makes this format so challenging. You can think, okay, what a journalist would ask about the economy, foreign policy, but what do real everyday Americans care about? That's something that's harder to predict. And as you saw in that video we had watched earlier where President Bush kind of tried to fumble around for his preconceived answer, in this format you can't do that. You have to have a command of the issues. And it's something that Donald Trump has struggled with. What a great opportunity for him to show the American public how he's evolved.
There you go. Absolutely. And it looks like we're having someone speak right now. Let's go to that right now and see what they're saying.
To the second presidential debate of 2016 here at Washington University in St. Louis, an historic fifth for this campus, and a treasured homecoming for the Commission on Presidential Debates. 5 days ago, this set and this crew were in Farmville, Virginia. Everything that you see tonight has been moved here from the vice presidential debate, set up, tested, rehearsed, beautified in that short time span. I hope those of you in the audience here at Washington University will look at your programs and study those names that are listed there under the production crew. They are without peer in terms of all of the aspects of this extremely complicated production that will be carried for 90 minutes live, nationally and internationally. The audio, lighting, set, and logistical team that does this are absolutely extraordinary. There are a lot of people to thank for what has happened here tonight, and I would like to start by introducing the co-chairman of the commission, Mike McCurry and Frank Fahrenkopf.
Thank you, Janet. What a pleasure it is to be here at Washington University. The fifth time that we have been here for a presidential debate. It's beginning to feel almost like a permanent home for the Commission on Presidential Debates. So all of you from Washington University and the community here, thank you very much, and give yourself a round of applause. The nonpartisan Commission on Presidential Debates began in 1987 with the leadership of my co-chair, Frank Fahrenkopf, who's here tonight, and my predecessor, Paul G. Kirk, Jr. And they did an extraordinary thing. They actually decided that presidential debates ought to be institutionalized and the American people ought to expect that they would happen and that the candidates would participate. And we've been able to do that. We've been able to do that with the assistance of 14 incredible members of our commission, distinguished leaders who join me and Frank. And I'd like to introduce them now. We'll give them a round of applause at the end. We're delighted to be joined tonight by the chairman of the Howard G. Buffett Foundation, Howard Buffett, your former United States Senator here in Missouri, Jack Danforth, the former anchor of ABC. By the way, guys, stand up as I list your names. The former anchor of ABC World News with Charles Gibson, obviously Charlie Gibson. The president of the University of Notre Dame, Father John Jenkins. The former president of the League of Women Voters and the current president of the Council on Foundations, Dorothy Dott Ridings. And the former president of Princeton University, Shirley Tillman. Go Tigers. So if you could all stand and give them a round of applause. One of the things our commission is responsible for doing is designing the format. If you've watched the previous presidential debate, you know this one is different because we have with us citizen participants who have been selected by the Gallup organization. They represent uncommitted citizens here in the St. Louis area, and they're here to participate in the questioning of the candidates tonight. The other important thing we've done is to take time to give the candidates more opportunity to discuss with themselves the important issues that face our country. So rather than having rapid-fire questions, we give the candidates an opportunity to really have a discussion. That's an important part of the format changes that we've made. You should know that we don't know at the commission. The campaigns don't know.
Everybody, we will get you back out there to the debate hall, a little bit closer to the debate, and we're also looking to see if Hillary Clinton is going to be coming. She may already be in there, but we just did see Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani come, and we'll be monitoring this shot as well. But another question that Mark Martinez came over, and he wanted to know, do you think that they will shake hands in the middle of the stage when they first come out? What do you think?
I think they have to. I think Secretary Clinton will not look kindly. The American voters won't look kindly on her just avoiding Donald Trump. But what an awkward interchange they must have.
Yes.
That greeting. Their mics obviously are going to be hot, so they can't really say anything.
Sure.
A look in the eye. Is she going to have like disappointing mother look? Is she going to look him in the eye like a boxer would to challenge him? That becomes something that went from debate theater maybe 72 hours ago to a real story here if something happens in the handshake.
I mean, it could happen right in the handshake too. Yeah, because if she kind of almost had a look of like, oh, don't even try to, I mean, that would look bad on her.
Yeah, right. If she tries to just avoid contact at all, you know. But she can also like, you know, just be so happy to see him. There's obviously something has happened. How do you even react to that? And what would you do if you were in that position?
There you go.
How would you react? I think a lot of people out there would have no idea what they would do if they were confronted with someone that made a controversial comment that might have struck at them or hit the wrong chord. How would they respond seeing them at first? It is awkward.
Absolutely. And what I want to know too is for the first debate we saw Hillary Clinton wear red, he wore the blue, and then even in the vice presidential debate, Tim Kaine was wearing red and Mike Pence was with the blue. Do you think they're going to have that same color scheme where they kind of like almost flip-flop?
It's interesting that for so long, right, it was that the Republicans were red and the Democrats were blue, and now they're switching it. I don't know if they lost a coin flip or how that's decided, but clearly it's been choreographed behind the scenes in some sort of agreement.
There you go.
That it's so interesting that this is such theater now, that every detail has been scripted, has been thought about before, that these candidates really know exactly, even down to their wardrobe, what they're going to wear.
Yeah, that's really something. And it looks like also they took our shot away from the Hillary must be there because they went away. Yeah, she has 13 minutes. If she's not there,
how would you like to run late for this debate? We talk about not shaking Donald Trump's hand. How about not even being there for the handshake?
Yeah,
right?
there you go. Now that would be a total momentum changer. It would be on his side then. So I just don't know what to expect tonight. You know, we were talking, you were with us on the first one, and we were just talking about what was the demeanor going to be like of Donald Trump, and we saw a lot of times he was interrupting or just trying to get his final jab in. But now, since what happened on Friday, it's just another wild card situation.
Right, and that's one of the notes he's got to have gotten from his campaign is you can't interrupt. If Mike Pence did such a great job of allowing Tim Kaine to interrupt him and really kind of flip the momentum there, Donald Trump has got to be more disciplined. He's got to have more of a planned, organized. Allow Hillary Clinton to make those comments, and then you can respond. You don't need to interrupt her. You know she's not going to yield the floor.
It looks like we have the shot back. Looks like Hillary is arriving.
And what's happened is going into this debate tonight,
and she's coming
Anderson
in.
Cooper
if that gives
and Martha
her
Raddatz have received from those social network platforms the views of the platform participants as to what they think the issues are that are important. Hopefully those issues will be presented in the questions that come from the moderators, in addition to the questions that are going to come from these ladies and gentlemen who are behind us. One last point, and I mentioned this to some detail, at the vice presidential debate a week or so ago is we're particularly proud of the work we do internationally.
Which makes sense.
Absolutely.
The United States of America, with all our faults,
just coming in,
is still the beacon of democracy and freedom around the world.
See the team
and we've been working for the last 20 years with nations around the world.
Coming right there. You know, if I was up there, I would want to be, you know, an hour ahead of time.
Right.
But, you know, when you don't have to drive and you know where you're getting pulled up, I guess everything's different too.
Right.
But we are about 11 minutes away. What else should we be looking for tonight with this town hall setup as far as demeanor, or what else should we be looking at?
Well, I think the adjustments that Trump had to make from the first debate before all of the controversy happened was being more measured, setting a tone, connecting to voters. That doesn't play very well. The bombast that he has, the grand statements, isn't going to play well in a smaller, intimate setting.
Yes.
Can he lower his voice? Can he lower his tone? And can she connect with the voters? For Hillary Clinton, can she make herself somebody the American people feel like cares about them and isn't just a career politician trying to get another notch in her belt, as it were, of being able to say, oh, I have this position now. Can she connect? Can they have that moment? Who's going to have the moment of the second debate that's going to be replayed over and over on the morning news shows of the connection that they've made? Is it going to be a positive one, or is it going to be a gaffe that's been made? I think who's going to get to the issues first? For Donald Trump, he did so well on trade. The first 15 minutes of the debate went very well for him. If he can get a question about the economics or trade, something he's comfortable with early, that might help calm him down. If he's thrust into foreign policy, one of Secretary Clinton's more strong suits, then perhaps it might be a long night for Donald Trump. So what are the questions that are going to be asked? Do they actually answer them? And then who's going to connect with the voters and can convince the American public that they are somebody that can lead this country for the next 4 years?
Absolutely. And there was a couple times when I rewatched the first debate, and there was a couple times where Hillary Clinton really just tossed up a beach ball, you know, where he could have smacked it out of the park.
Right.
And he didn't jump on it.
Donald Trump was so concerned about the curveballs Hillary Clinton was throwing in the dirt to him, referring to him by name, the jabs she was taking. He swung wildly at those. She threw a couple fastballs right down the middle, and he just watched them go by, right?
Absolutely.
And so for him, he's got to be ready for if she's going to
take advantage of that.
Yeah, if she's going to say something about an email or something about experience. One of the best lines he had was she's had 30 years to fix this and she hasn't done it.
Yes.
He can take her experience, something that Americans say that they favor about Hillary Clinton. If he can turn that into a weakness, this is going to become a much closer race than people are expecting. He's got to watch out for those fastballs that Hillary Clinton is laying down there. Don't swing at the dirt and the curveballs. Let those go by. The American public's smart enough to recognize what she's doing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there was that one time where on the first debate, she was talking about that she has the stamina to be president, and then she used the reference about she had 11 hours on congressional hearing, where he could have just said, well, that was because of your email situation.
Right. You were there because right. You're there because there was an incident where 4 Americans died overseas. That's on you. That's your watch, Secretary Clinton. That's your experience.
Yeah,
that was a great opportunity, and I would imagine the Trump campaign had to have been bracing themselves for a great moment, and then an exhale of disappointment when he missed that moment. And that's where that training comes in. If you know beforehand these are the issues you want to go to, as a debate coach, you can lob those questions. You can show what your opponent is going to do, and you need to know that. So hopefully for the Trump campaign, Donald Trump has put in more of a work, more of an activity, more of a practice. If you're going to go in a boxing match, you've got to spar a little bit first, right?
Yes, absolutely. All right, everybody, we are just about 8 minutes away. Let's take you now back inside, and the debate hall will get you all set up as we are just moments away. I feel like, you know, this is almost like kickoff to the Super Bowl. You know? I feel like we're tossing now like we're going to see a game, but this is actually a different kind of strategy game being played. Well, Victor Silva, thank you so much once again joining us. This was really something. Debate coach, thank you so much. Let's take you now inside.